What's up, everyone? It's Evan here
And it's David.
from the UI platform team. Today we've got some cool stuff to demo for our search component. Should be a little bit of stuff in here that maybe you've seen, but a little bit of stuff that maybe you haven't seen. So let's get right into it. Let's close that. All right, so let's look at this Discover query. I'm looking at this query, and I'm kind of having to squint here a little bit to read this. Event type : okay, so that's the key. Looks like there's a few things here. Let's go over here. Let's look at the new version of this. Right away, I see that there's 4 terms. It's very obvious. I see that this one has an operator. You might not even caught that. There's a little greater than symbol here. Just way easier to read. Let's look at another one. Okay. This query doesn't even look like it's working. Again, I just have to kind of look really close. It looks like there's a integration key with the value Splunk here. Event type doesn't. Let's look at the other one. This is just a million times easier. Okay, I can see right away. Oh, look at this. This wasn't even a. This was a value. This whole thing was a value. This is wrong. This should be error or something. It looks like there's 2 transaction keys. Again, a million times easier to read this. Let's just look at one more. All right, this is already a lot longer. I don't even want to look at this. Let's just go over to the new version. Right away, I can see. Looks like we've got 2 groups. You can see real clearly here the little parentheses. You can see the operators, the ORs. Right away, you can see there's 2 terms per group here. Looks like we got measurement LCB kind of floating off over here, as well as event type and organization slug. So right away, this new search syntax highlighting, great. Heard a lot of feedback internally that it's been great, but I think we can all see that this is very nice. Let's talk about building queries. Let's jump over here into a blank Discover page, and let's just kind of refresh that. Don't worry about that. And let's do something easy. Let's do was it key index error? We'll do a classic Python error. So I'll do message key error. Looks pretty good. Let's hit enter. Looks like it's complaining empty string after. Looks like I can't have this space here. Is probably what the problem is. Let's jump over to the new hotness over here. Build a query. And let's try that again. So message key. Didn't even have to enter. Didn't even have to make the query. Didn't have to wait for the API call to tell me what was wrong. I can see right away that this needs to be like that. And now I can see right away that if I type key error, that's right. And I can hit enter, and that's right. And I didn't even know we had key errors. Let's talk about another one. Let's talk about timestamps. Let's say that I wanted to search for an event that happened today. So let's do timestamp today. I hit enter, and it's telling me that there's a formatting issue here. Let's go back over here. Timestamp today. If I can type it right, timestamp today. Again, didn't have to enter. Let's go right back here. Right away, invalid date time format. Got some good examples here. Let me update it to those. 2020, 07, 06, 06. That's fine. Right away I can see. This is actually a different color than a normal key. Normal key's blue. This one's a nice green. Very clear that this is good. In fact, if I make it wrong again, we'll see that's wrong. That's pretty nice. Obviously, this isn't the perfect experience. We're still doing a little bit of tweaking. It'd actually be really nice if when you typed it like this right away, that it gave you a little bit of a hint as to what you could type. But, we're getting there. I've got one more. Let's go back here, and let's say we want to look up let's say we want to look up the Sentry project. So I type project ID Sentry. Tells me it needs to be a number. Let's do that over here. Oops. Get that out of here. Project ID Sentry. Again, tells me right away it's wrong. And you might notice, actually, it tells you specifically which token is wrong. If I type more tokens, you'll see those are fine. Those are fine. But it tells me which ones are wrong. That's nice. So that stuff, it's probably pretty obvious since, if you're looking at queries, you'll see it right away. But, David, why don't you walk us through some of the new stuff that you might not have noticed?
I'd love to. So not only do we have these amazing visual changes brought to you by Evan, but we also have some autocomplete improvements that will hopefully make correcting these queries and building them a little bit easier. So if we go back to the old gnarly query that we had, that was really hard to read, we can see that if we go ahead and we try to fix this, we'll come through here, put our mouse in there, we'll curse through, and this stuff just isn't really being responsive. We're already inside of this transaction tag, and it's not really telling us anything relevant. Say we wanted to go ahead and fix the event type to be something like error or default or transaction. We have to go ahead and actually change it before it starts updating. So say I change it all the way back and I want to see these default tag values. I see them now. But if I go ahead and say, okay, now I actually want to, before I decide on that, I need to fix this transaction business. So I'm going to go ahead and go over this transaction. If I just click into error here, it's going to put the key value or the value of the key into the wrong token. So now event.type is still blank, and that was an old autocomplete entry that's being filled into this new tag. So now let's go ahead and look at the new world, and we'll see that fixing these things can get significantly easier. So we'll go ahead and curse into here. And you can see that as we move around in this query, the tags and everything that's in the autocomplete help box is just updating live. So you can see we get operators when we're by the operator, we get tags values when we're in the tag value, and then if we come over here, we can see that, okay, we need to correct this and it needs to be error, transaction, or default. I'll go ahead and switch this to error, and that updates, and then we can move along and do the rest of the stuff here. Also, if we go back to the example with timestamp, we can see that we have these new operator helpers that you might have seen before. So if I go timestamp right here, put this colon, you can immediately tell what operators are valid for this key. And before, a lot of users actually didn't really know that you could do these kind of things with like measurements.lcp with timestamp and all these different things. So now all the operators are just displayed here very nicely. So say I want to go ahead and use this, and then I'll go something like this, and then it'll be like, I'll do something like that. And then I can actually go ahead and change this operator really easy as well, just by using the keyboard and going to the correct one that I want. Yep, so that's about it for the auto-completion. We're still polishing up a few things in general for the search syntax highlighting and the new and improved auto-completion. And we plan to split test these changes soon, observe a couple metrics around failed tests, failed searches, and then we'll GA the feature pretty soon. So that's all we got.
Cool. Thanks, David.
Thank you.
Hope you guys like. Let us know if you have any feedback. We're over in Discover the Discuss UI Platform channel. Thanks, y'all.